Continuing with the topic, let us today discuss about the father of scientific management and the various thoughts and approaches of management. Henry Fayol was considered to be the father of modern management due to his 14 management principles. Frederick Taylor is also called the father of scientific management. I request you to please rectify an error given in your textbook about Henry Fayol, which is a printing mistake. In your textbook, it is written that Henry Fayol was born in 1941. If his birth is in 1941, how can he write his book Principles of Management in 1916? After thoroughly checking his date of birth from authentic sources, it is clear that he was born on July 29, 1841 in Istanbul, Turkey, and that he published his book in 1916. Please do the correction in your textbook with marker pen. Today, we shall discuss about the various thoughts of management or approaches of management. Management thoughts are outcomes of researches, studies, and results in the field of management. Management principles have undergone a long history of evolution and continue to evolve. These principles are called thoughts or approaches of management because many management experts have presented different principles according to their own opinions, due to which many branches and sub-branches have been developed. Now, let us understand the name of the management thought and the promoters one by one. Classical approach 1900 to 1930. The promoters were Frederick Taylor, Max Weber, Henry Grant, Gilbreth, Henry Fayol. Neoclassical approach 1930 to 1960. Elton Mayo, Herzberg, René Likert, Chris Agris, McCrerer, and Maslow. Modern approach 1916 onwards. Coons and O'Donnell, George Terry, Peter Drucker, William Auchi, and C.K. Prahalad. Let us first see the classical thoughts. The thoughts of management presented till the end of the 19th century is known as the thought of the classical theory. These views are called the classical theory because they form the foundation for the field of management thought. The promoters of the classical theory are Frederick Taylor, Max Weber, Gilbreth, Henry Grant, and Henry Fayol. At the end of the 19th century, form and size of business units started to change due to the Industrial Revolution. As a result, need for changes in classical theory arose. The classical theory can be further divided into three separate schools as follows. First is Principles of Scientific Management by Frederick Taylor. Frederick Taylor is called as the father of scientific management. He developed a scientific method of time study and motion study in place of traditional method of doing a work. Main contribution of scientific principles lies in specialization in management, progressive wage system or piece wage system, scientific distribution of work and responsibility. The administrative or the general management theory was given by Henry Fayol, who presented the 14 principles of management. Principles of management given by Henry Fayol can be applied in business and non-business units, hence his theories and principles are universally accepted. Bureaucratic management by Max Weber. Max Weber, a contemporary of Henry Fayol, was one of the significant contributors of the classical theory. Let us see the limitations of the classical theory. The limitations are the classical theory gave more importance to financial motivation, less importance to human approach, and less importance to human relations. Now, let us understand the neoclassical theory. To remove the limitations of classical theory, management experts have made changes and established new approaches, which is called neoclassical theory. Elton Mayo, an Australian industrial psychologist, was known as the promoter of thought of neoclassical theory, which was given in the beginning of 20th century, 1927 to 1932. The main contributors of the neoclassical theory are Elton Mayo, Chris Argyris, Heisenberg, René Descartes, Maslow, and McGregor. The branches of the neoclassical theory are human relations, human behavior, social mechanism thought, and social arrangement thought. Classical theory of management had certain limitations which were necessary to remove. Hence, management experts have made changes and established new approach which is called neoclassical theory. Elton Mayo, an Australian industrial psychologist, is known as the promoter of the neoclassical theory which was given in the beginning of the 20th century. The contributors are Elton Mayo, Heisenberg, Chris Argyris, McGregor, and Maslow. The branches of the neoclassical theory are human behavior, social mechanism thought, and social arrangement thought. Concepts like interhuman relations, motivation, leadership, communication process, disposal of industrial disputes are included in the behavior related thoughts. The promoter of the behavior related thought was the Australian industrial psychologist Elton Mayo. Theory of Hawthorne gave a new birth to the behavior oriented concept. Behavior approach has given more importance to human element which was ignored by the classical theory. Management should recognize that employees are social beings and not merely economic beings. Hence, behavior related thought emphasized on job satisfaction and increase in efficiency of employee using psychological observation. Therefore, Professor Urvik has said, "You manage your men will manage rest of all." It shows that an employee is having an important place in a business unit. The matters included in the behavior related thoughts are informal organization, interhuman relations, motivation, leadership, communication process, disposal of industrial disputes, etc. The main limitation of the behavior related thought is that economic parameter is neglected because human relations are maintained at the cost of productivity. Now let us go to the modern thought. The modern management theory is an extension and synthesis of classical and neoclassical approaches to management. After 1960, as changes occurred in the form of industry and business unit, the needs for special theory of management arose. The promoters of the modern thought are Kuntz and O'Donnell, George Terry, Peter Drucker, William Auchi, and C.K. Prahalad. Modern management thought freely draws concepts and techniques from many fields like psychology, social studies, statistics, mathematics, computer, and information related technology. Let us now understand Frederick Winslow Taylor's principle of scientific management. Frederick Taylor is known as the propounder of scientific management. Frederick Winslow Taylor was an American mechanical engineer and an important contributor in classical thoughts. In the starting phase, he joined as an apprentice in a factory. After contributing in various companies, he became manager in Bethlehem Steel Company. During this period, Frederick Winslow Taylor, for the first time, presented principles of scientific management, and hence he is known as the father of scientific management. Frederick Taylor challenged the traditional method of management and started developing the new method. Let us now understand Taylor's view of management. In any business unit, normally two classes are involved, owners and workers. Owners or the managers are interested in maximization of profit and wealth, while workers are interested in higher wages and job satisfaction. As a result, conflict arises in maintaining harmony between these two groups. Let us see the most important principle called the rule of the thumb. Traditional method was military type and rule of the thumb was a part of the traditional method. In the rule of the thumb, owners were dominating the workers. In rule of thumb, workers were dominated by the owners. Workers were not having any voice since the owners were autocratic. Orders, instructions, etc. were given by the owner and it had to be blindly followed by the workers. So, Frederick Taylor developed scientific management. Let us see his definition. Let us see the meaning of scientific management. Scientific management is a mental revolution on part of a particular unit of employees in a factory. It is totally mental revolution towards their work, duties, colleagues and owners. In other words, scientific management means managing things on the basis of experiments, analysis, innovation and investigation in place of traditional method. Taylor defines scientific management as knowing exactly what you want your men to do and then to see that they do it in the best and the cheapest way. The suggestions given by Taylor are as follows. Frederick Taylor challenged the traditional method and proposed revolutionary idea which included the following suggestions. Each worker should be assigned work as per his mental and physical ability. Each worker should be instructed to perform maximum that could be achieved by any worker of his category. Any worker doing his work efficiently and speedily should be paid more wages, that is more than 30% to 100%. The following are the scientific principles of management given by Frederick Taylor. Scientific method. To complete a particular job or work, the scientific method should be adopted in place of the traditional method. The scientific method defines work specifically and analyzes the work scientifically. Second, planning and implementation. The function of planning should be undertaken by experts and not by the workers. Whatever plan is decided by the experts should be followed by workers. Third, job analysis. Job analysis means finding out the best way of doing the work speedily and at lower cost. The following three aspects are included in job analysis: time study, motion study, and fatigue study. These studies help to increase productivity and eventually decrease cost of production. Let us see time study. Time study means to determine the standard time required to complete a well-defined job. Standard time defines the time required to finish the work in normal circumstances by an average worker. Time study is useful for making optimum use of production equipments and achievements of targets in time. Hence, the objective of time study is to determine the number of workers to be employed, frame suitable incentive schemes, and to determine labor cost. Standardization. It means setting standards for different factors like equipment, time, working condition, resources, etc. Standardization and simplification are scientific processes which are to be decided well in advance. Scientific selection and training. Workers should be selected on a scientific basis, taking into consideration their education, skill, guts, physical strength, training, etc. Work should be assigned to a worker according to his education, knowledge, and skill. Various methods of training should be used to increase the efficiency of workers. Different types of tests should be conducted to know the worker's interest. Financial motivation. Skilled and efficient workers should be given financial and other kind of motivation. The wage system must be adopted on the basis of individual productivity of an employee. Wage study should be decided not as per the speculation, but it should be on the basis of scientific study. Differential motivated wage scheme has also been recommended. Economical. In the scientific management, importance is given not only to the scientific and technical base but also to the low cost of production. For this, cost estimation, cost control methods should be considered, deviation should be found, and corrective action should be taken. Mental revolution. Mental revolution means change in the mindset of both owners and workers. Frederick Taylor suggested that both parties should move from conflict to harmony, which will create a feeling of cooperation among them. Mental revolution reduces stress between owners and workers, and hence goals can be achieved easily. Frederick Taylor has given the following techniques for practically implementing the principles of scientific management based on the various experiments he conducted during his career. We have got 7 techniques, however, In our textbook, we have to study only three. First is time study. Time study means to determine the standard time required to complete a well defined job. Standard time refers to the time required to finish the work in normal circumstances by an average worker. As per Taylor, a task should be finished within the desired time, and its careful analysis is known as time study. Time study is useful for making optimum use of production equipments and achievement of targets in time. Hence, the objective of time study is to determine the number of workers to be employed, frame suitable incentive schemes, and determine labor costs. Motion study. Motion study involves a study of movement of men and material. Motion study is a science of eliminating unnecessary movement in the work. The main object of motion study is to find out and implement a scheme for the least waste method of labor. Unnecessary movements eliminated to complete the job efficiency in lesser time. It aims at increasing the productivity of workers by eliminating unnecessary movements and thereby remove the industrial fatigue of the workers. Differential wage rate study. Taylor has revised the adoption of differential wage rate in order to motivate the employees. As per this system, wages are paid on the basis of work done by employees. Work efficiency of every employee is different. So, an efficient worker gets more wages and an inefficient worker gets less wages. According to Taylor, the system would motivate workers to produce more and help the business unit to perform better. The last in the management thought is Peter Drucker's contribution in management field. Peter Drucker, 1909 to 2005, was a well-known managerial leader, was a famous writer, philosopher and educator. Due to globalization, there was a change at global level in the business organization, hence a need for development of new methods of management arose. In a business unit, Peter Drucker has given more importance to human asset. His important contribution was management by objective, short form MBO, principle of self-regulations, self-control. Management by objective is a process where superior and subordinate jointly decide the common objectives and set the results that should be achieved by the subordinates. Management by objective is very efficient for different forms of business. He has given his contribution in different fields of management like human resource management, marketing management, and stress management. Therefore, he is called the father of modern management. This brings me to the end of the second chapter, which includes thoughts of the management theory, 14 principles of Henry Fayol, and scientific management principles of Frederick Taylor. If you have any queries, please let me know. Please see the question answers in the exercise and try to give me your feedback. Until then, take care.